inspiration, self-discovery, and a sprinkle of empowerment, all over a cup of tea. Please welcome your host, Virginie Madiston. Virginie is a passionate advocate for personal growth and wellness, blending the art of tea with the journey of confidence. With a background in psychology, theology, and coaching, she believes every sip of tea can lead to a transformed mind, edified soul, and activated confidence. So get ready to steep yourself in uplifting conversations, insightful stories, and practical wisdom. Without further ado, here's your host of the Confidence Tea Podcast, Virginie Madiston.
Hello, and welcome to the Confidence Tea Podcast. I'm Gigi, your host and fellow confidence seeker and tea lover. If this is your first time tuning in, this is where we get to have an amazing conversation about building our confidence over a cup of tea. And today I'm drinking turmeric ginger tea. Got a little bit of lipstick on there, but if you look at my cup, all things are possible to those who believe. So today we're getting into this topic, and I'm so excited to have a very special guest with us. And we're talking about releasing doubt and strategies that you need to prioritize your needs. So this is going to be an amazing conversation. So get comfortable, grab your favorite cup of tea, and let's get ready to dive into this conversation. So first, I want to tell you about our special guest. So Iyabo Adedrian is a California-based licensed professional clinical counselor and marriage and family therapist, specializing in generational and childhood trauma. As a mental health private practice owner, nonprofit founder, and motivational speaker, Iyabo empowers individuals from marginalized communities to break cycles and build generational wellness. She's currently a doctoral candidate with supporting her 8-year-old daughter's business venture to empower young brown girls worldwide. Iyabo's mission is to inspire confidence and create lasting change, both professionally and as a dedicated mother, sister, and aunt. Please welcome Confidence Tea lovers, Iyabo.
Hey!
Welcome to Confidence Tea. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to talk to you. First of all, me and you just have so much in common,
Yes.
And so
There's
I'm
that.
just so excited to jump into this conversation with you. And we're talking about releasing doubt, pour into me, strategies to prioritize our needs. And so many people need that. If you need that, let me know in the chat. Type in, I need that. Because we want to give you the tea, but we're not going to give you the tea until you tell us that you need that. So let me know in the comments if you really need some strategies to help you prioritize the things that you really need. So Iyabo, let's jump into this. Tell me about, I read your bio and everything, but give me the real tea. Like, give me give me the skinny. Like, tell me all about you and what you got going on.
Let's see. How much time we have. I could have you here all year now. But in all seriousness, if I could just say like one thing that I have done all of my life or for as long as I can remember, is I am passionate and dedicated to my community.
That's awesome.
And that's the African American community. Let me just be clear on that piece. And so I think because of the fact that for so long access is limited.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how to get things. We may know, but we may not know what questions to ask or what to do or how to get there. And so we need people who can be able to say, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not trying to charge you anything. I'm not trying to take anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to love on you. And we can do this together.
Yes.
Because you don't have to do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's me. That's me.
You in a nutshell. You're like,
in a nutshell.
love it. I absolutely love it. So, what's your origin? Like, how did you start? I see all these credentials behind your name, and we want to peel back the layers and find out, how did that all start? Like, what's something that has really shaped your journey that has gotten you to where you are now?
Yeah. I would just say, as I was growing up, as you see in my bio, I'm a therapist and all these letters and symbols and carrying on, and those happen. So let me say, I work hard for it. However, it does not define me and who I am as an individual, right? And so, as I kind of started out with my career, I always knew that I wanted to help people, but I didn't quite know how to do that, what that might look like. So I dabbled in a number of things. And so, I probably start off with, my mom was a teacher. So she said, you should be a teacher. I was like, I love the babies, but I don't want to teach them. And so I scratched that one off. And so I just continued to go down the list, and things just weren't fitting, and they didn't feel like it was for me. And it wasn't until I was working, and a woman came, and she had become my mentor, and she said, listen, this is what I see in you. And I think that therapy and being a therapist is something that you should look into and apply. And I was like, therapist? Because from my background, I grew up in the church, and we never heard about mental health or therapy.
Oh, no.
Right. And so if something was wrong, right, we need to pray about it. Hello. Yeah. And, God was going to do it. And if it didn't work out, then it wasn't meant for you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know, girl, but okay, well, if you say so, let me try it out. So I applied for the master's program, and I was like, well, I'm probably not going to get in, because I don't know if this is for me. And the woman, when I went to the interview, she said, okay, so when are you going to start? I said, now say what? I don't know. I didn't think that this was for me. And so I started in the program, and one of the requirements of the program was that you had to do your own therapy. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess you can't really be a therapist for the people if you don't
know what's going on with you.
Listen, if you don't know what you're doing. And so I said, okay, well, and I held it off to as long as I could do it. And I said, you know what, let me just go ahead on and do this therapy. And so that's what I did. And I went there, and I was apprehensive initially. And I was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, how I'm supposed to see, how am I supposed to sit, what am I supposed to, do. And so I met this lady, this therapist, and her and I began working together. And it wasn't until we were in that process. I lost both of my parents at an early age. My dad at 15, mom at 20. And, because of my church upbringing, we just pray about it because it was in God's will. And then we just move on, right? And so I'm in this therapy, and this grief came up for me. And let me tell you, I was laid out on the floor, right? And I'm like, woo, because it just about took me all the way out. Wow. But it was what I needed to be able to get to that place where I can process through that grief, so then I can be able to move forward, because I hadn't realized how much I was holding on to and how much I hadn't even, I hadn't thought about it. I had stuffed it down, because we just need to move forward, because that's just what we need.
That's what we do.
That's just what we do, right? And so through that process and being able to process it through, and to see how it just literally just knocked me on out, I was like, wow, this is powerful. And I'm all in. And, but I just can't keep it to myself. I need to be able to go back to my community, to my people, and let them know that this thing is powerful, and it is possible for you too to get to the place of healing. And so long, like, there's generational things that we just do that because that's what we're supposed to do. Nobody asks questions. Nobody explains why we do things. We just do it. That's what we
do.
do.
We thought mama did it, grandmama did it, great grandmama did it. We doing it.
We doing it. Don't ask no questions, because then now you're getting to be disrespectful. So just stay with what I told you to do, and we're just going to follow that. But that wasn't working for us as a people, because we weren't growing, we weren't healing. And we were holding on to all of these traumas and these experiences, and they just kept passing down to the next generation and the next generation. And we got to stop it. So I came to a place and I was like, okay, listen, I need to be able to go out and I need to be able to share so that people know, okay, this is something that's possible and I can do it too. But it wasn't until, so I was doing it in my own way. I was working for different agencies, and when I would greet people and we would have our one-on-one conversations, and I would be able to touch their lives in that way, right? But it wasn't until, but I said, but that gave me the ability to kind of still step back, but I was in it, like I was dipping my toe in a little bit.
You was testing the waters.
Yeah. And so it wasn't until 2020 and the tragic murder of George Floyd, and I saw this influx of people of color, particularly African American people, who started to like realize that, whoa, mental health is a thing and I need help, and what am I going to do? Unfortunately, there wasn't enough of us to be able to satisfy the need of people who needed care. And so I told myself, I said, self, what are we going to do about it? We continue to still dip our toe in and kind of hide, or we can go head on and put ourselves out there. And so that's exactly what I did. And I started my private practice, which is Be Encouraged Counseling Services. And with that in mind, that they needed to be able to see me, I need to be able to see them, and then we can work together so that they can get to a place of healing.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. That is just like such a triumphant story, because I know I work in the mental health sector, and I know just the need, but also just the lack of knowledge, that we still, and the stigma that's associated with mental health. And we're not where we used to be, but we're definitely a long ways from where we need to be. Let me just say that, because there are still people that have such a confusion about what it is to have a mental health disorder, or what it is to just, be dealing with mental health issues. We're mind, body, and spirit. So a lot of times people think, oh, just like you could get a stomach ache, it's the same thing. Mentally, you could have an issue going on based on trauma, based on some of the different things that you go through. And sometimes who's to say what trauma is based on what somebody experiences? Your trauma may not be my trauma. And the reality of it. And it's time for us as a people to come together and to understand, what it all encompasses. So thank you for just, not just dipping your toe, but finally taking the leap and, going to the deep end, so that we can have the support, and we can have these services that are so needed in our community. Thank you for that. Many individuals struggle with self-doubt. From your experience, what's the most powerful advice that you can advise someone? Because we're talking about releasing doubt. What's the most, what's your piece of advice that you could advise someone that is struggling with that, and the challenges that they're facing with their confidence, because that has a lot to do with it.
There are so many people who are facing challenges with doubt and confidence. And what I hear so often in my work is, I'm not good enough. That message is like, And I don't care who you are, what economic background you come from, it doesn't matter. That has been an underlying message that so many people have. And what ends up happening for many folks, and the advice that I offer is that we dedicate so much time focusing on the external, other people. What does that person think of me? How do they see me? What are they talking about? How can I be like them? And so if we're dedicating all of our time and energy on focusing on those other people, those external factors, then there is no time left for us to be able to dedicate time and energy to ourselves. And so I really love self-compassion work. And so I start by telling people, when you think of compassion, being compassionate towards someone else, what does that mean? Generally, I was like, I don't know. So the answer I give them is, when we see someone in need, let's say you're walking down the street and you see someone who needs some food, let's say, without blinking, let me go into my bag, pull this food out, and I'm going to offer it to this person. I'm not going to think about it, nothing, right? But if it was placed upon us, we were in that same situation where we didn't have food to be able to feed ourselves, will we allow ourselves the same grace? Most likely not.
No.
We'd be like, what is wrong with you? Why couldn't you figure out how to get more food? You need to do this. You need to do that. And we just beat ourselves
up.
Do.
We're our biggest critics.
Oh my goodness. We are our biggest critics. Yeah.
We like the worst best friend.
To ourselves. To ourselves.
Yeah.
Which then feeds the lack of confidence, or the decrease in confidence. And then now when I go out and I'm moving throughout the world and trying to do things, now I'm doubting myself because I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to receive this food from someone else. I'm not good enough to receive a word from someone. And the list goes on, right? So how can we really stop ourselves and practice being kind to ourselves? That's step one. How can we be kind to ourselves? How can we allow ourselves grace when we may take a misstep or three? How can we just take a beat and just sit and just, wow, whew, this day was challenging. However, I'm going to get through this.
Yeah.
Because it's possible.
It is. It definitely is possible. Wow. Yeah. Girl, you just be going in.
Listen here.
Got me in here about to be like, yes, okay. But how do you, I want to say, how do you handle, how do you overcome, your doubt and your, insecurities? Because we all face them. We all have challenges. So what do you do? What are some of the things that you, some of the I guess the tools on your tool belt?
Yeah. Because self-doubt is real for all of us, right?
So
I would be remiss if I sat here and be like, no, never, I'm perfect and great. I would be lying to you. However, yes, it does come, but it has been so important for me over the years to create an intentional practice of being with me. And so that can look differently from day to day. But for the most part, I want to make sure that I dedicate, before I start my day, before I get out and do the things that I need to do, that I take some quiet time and I can be able to sit in a space. I can get a cup of tea or some coffee and sit still and pray if I need to, sit quietly and meditate if I need to do that too. If I throw some yoga in there, whatever I need to do to be able to center myself. And then I can be able to, okay, what are we doing today? What is our goal today? What is the message that I want to leave for myself and for the folks that I touch? And so that can be, you can do it. I'm doing it and you could do it too. Let's just say as an example. And so as I move throughout my day, I make sure that I continue to check in with myself to make sure that I am in alignment with that intention that I've set.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think it's so important that time, it's an investment, right? Investing time into yourself because you never know what you're going to come about throughout the day. And so sometimes that quiet time in the morning or before you leave the house, just to get grounded, and to set a firm foundation for your day is so important, because when you go out and the attacks come, whether it's mental or, physical or whatever, you now have something to stand on, as opposed to if you're just running. Like, anybody who knows me, like, I hate morning, like I always say, I can't work the morning shift. Like, I'm a night shifter. I need my time. I need to have my little coffee. Like, I need to have my coffee, tea, whatever. And I need to just bring it all in, as opposed to, okay, I'm rolling out the bed and I got to be at somebody's job. Like, it's too much for me. I can't do it. It just doesn't sit well for me. But it's like, when I have the day to process, and, I done had time with self, I done reflected, I done prayed, I done meditated. Now I'm ready to go face the world.
Yeah.
You don't know what's waiting for you on the outside. And so sometimes with lack of preparation, that's when we fall, when we're not prepared, and we're not standing on a solid foundation. It's so easy for us to, any little thing, we get flustered, we get angry. People just throw us off track. Somebody can mess up your day. I'm not giving nobody that right. Nobody has the right to throw me off track and to mess up. Like, you are not that important, honey.
You are not.
You are not about to mess up my day. Like, if I, but granted, it could happen if I don't have if I'm not doing my routine, if I'm not pouring into self, if I'm not, affirming myself, if I'm not engaging in my daily practices that I use to fuel myself and to fuel my mind, it can easily, definitely happen. All it takes is somebody to cut you off in traffic and you ready to flip off the handle. So
it's getting real. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so it's one of those things, like, it can happen so easily, by just us not being prepared.
Yeah.
So
preparation is key.
Yeah, preparation is definitely key. So let's talk about social media and how social media plays such a part of, like, us doubting ourselves, and how we can, the strategies that we can use to eliminate that doubt. Because a lot of times, we might have an idea, or we might be stepping into a different direction, and then we look at Susie Joe is doing XYZ and is playing way bigger than we are. So now we minimize our small beginnings, I would say, just because we see Susie Joe. And of course, Susie Joe's only showing you the grandiose version of her life. She's not showing you, the dark parts, right? She's not showing you what it took for her to get there. Because social media only shows you the highlights, right?
Yeah. I think that's, that's real. Because, so let me start with this. Social media has its place, right? There's some positive things that social media has offered us. It's offered us a bigger platform. We can connect with folks that we might not have before. It allowed us to be here. So social media has its perks, if you will. But however, with the filter game and the, let me show you what I want you to see, which is okay. But generally speaking, folks are only going to show you what they want you to see. So this picture where I'm looking real cute and, and I'm having this experience where it's super positive, you don't see the other side. And so if we're so focused in on like, oh gosh, okay, here's a positive moment. Look at this, look at that. We can lose ourselves so quickly. Sometimes we aimlessly just kind of scroll.
Yeah.
We can just keep going. And before you know it, it's like you're 4 hours in. And you looking into these folks' lives that you have never seen and may never see. And so for that, what is going to be so important is to create a healthy relationship with social media.
Yes.
And by doing that, you got to get some breaks in. You really have to take some time. Okay, I'm going to give myself just a little bit. I'm going to do this for about an hour. Put yourself on a timer if that's what you need to be able to get off social media. But also think about the pages in which you're following.
Yeah.
The algorithm is something fierce. And so with that being said, if you're following pages that are pouring into you positivity, right? These are the messages that you're going to continuously receive. So as you're seeing, you follow Susie Joe, and then now Susie Joe follows Lisa, and you're going to see all of this, and both of their pages are positive. Now you're on to something because you're pouring into yourself what you need, and it's going to fill you up. So now you can move forward because they've hit you with a positive message, and now you can go on about your day. Okay, look at here.
And and I know we talk a lot about the negative sides of social media and how, there's a lot and there are some negative sides. However, there's a lot of positivity too. And there is a way to manage it so that it's healthy. Like for myself in the beginning, when I first started my social media journey, I struggled with it a lot because I didn't know how to decipher. Like I didn't know how to, like, which pages were, because sometimes you would see the negative stuff like all over your, and I'm like, I don't want to see that, or I don't want to see gossip, or I don't want to see nonsense. Like I wanted to see, so what I started to do, and what I love about social media is it allows you to craft it. I was like, you know what? I don't, next, delete, swipe, what is it? Swipe left. I didn't need to pour that into myself. I didn't need that. But what I did need, I needed that positive message. I needed that quote. I needed that scripture. And so I, like you said, I started to hone in on the positive things. And not only that, I think too, we almost try to forget that these are real people and we stop the connections. And so I started to connect, even still now, like look at how I connected, I'm all about the connection that we can make. Like, let's use this amazing tool. It's an amazing tool, but let's use it for good. Let's use it wisely, but let's use it with a brain. Like, it's made, like, there's so many things. I've been able to connect with so many amazing people through social media. I've been able to, grace platforms through social media and so forth. And it's like, this is amazing. However, there's, it's a thin line, right? It's a thin line. How many hours do we spend on social, so there's so many things. So you just almost have to figure out, how it's going to affect your perception. But then also too, think of it, you don't have to be just a consumer. And that was the lightning bolt for me, is like, I don't have to just consume all this data. I get to put my own data out there. And that's what this platform is about. I get to put a positive message out there. So for every negative message that, somebody's talking about their baby mama drama or whatever they got going on, I get to talk about, what, here's ways to release doubt. Here are tools to build more self-confidence. Like, and that's the opportunity that we all have. We all have that same opportunity to breathe positive light, and not just have to sit here and consume all of the. Don't complain about the consuming the garbage if you're not putting anything good out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really about balance. It's
Mhm.
really about balance. How can you balance your time spent? How can you balance what you're consuming and what you're pouring out um, to others? It can be challenging to create a balance, particularly initially. It's like, wait a minute, now I don't know what it's. I'm all over the place, and that's okay. Just keep at it, but taking those, that's why the social media cleanse is really helpful.
Mhm.
Taking, a weekend where you just don't go on the app, or for some of us, we may need to just go ahead on and delete it because we just can't trust ourselves to not
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay. Know yourself.
Yes.
Know what you're capable of. And
And that is the
you
biggest thing,
do that.
self-awareness, for real.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge. And then while you're taking that cleanse and you decide to come back, then this is a time where you may be able to go through your friends list and really look at the people that you have befriended. Don't just let everybody in and on your page, but really look at, okay, who have I befriended and what are they typically showing on their pages? And is this something that is pouring into me, that's building my confidence, that's helping me with the doubt that I already feel because I've been comparing myself to folks? And
Mhm.
so if that person is not pouring into you, then this might be somebody I need to unfollow.
Mm.
No hard feelings. If I see you out, hey.
Okay.
However, yeah. However, at this stage and what I'm doing for me in my life, I can no longer have you in my space. And that includes social media.
Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
You have the right. You have the right to choose your social media
Yeah.
friends, whatever you want to call them, circles, groups, right? They give you
Right.
the choice. That button that says unfriend on there.
Yeah. It's there
I'm
for a
sure they
reason.
created that button for a reason. They created it for a time such as this. And
Yes.
so, you have to, use those tools wisely.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that we allow, instead of us influencing social media, we allow social media to influence us. And I
Mhm.
think that is something that needs to change. We need to figure out how to use what it is, because it's a great tool. It's just like technology, the computer. I don't
Mhm.
know, anything that is man-made, that somebody created. There's good use to it, but there's also going to be a downfall. And so we need to figure out how to turn it and make it work for us and make it work for our good and for our favor.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So we're talking about doubt, but along with that comes a lot of like self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care is crucial.
Yeah.
But would you agree that it's often neglected? Uh,
Yeah.
because,
Oh, yes.
and in your professional opinion, what
Yeah.
are the signs that you see that, someone needs to take take more of an initiative to prioritize their self-care?
Yeah.
That is a need. Like they need to prioritize this area of their life.
Uh-huh. What I see so often is that um, the need for self-care is overlooked for quite a long time.
Hmm.
And because that has happened, by the time folks reach me, what I'm hearing is like, "Ooh, girl, I'm burnt down,"
They
or
already.
they already, they just done with it. I can't do anything else. I can't get out of bed. I just don't even want to look at people, talk to people. Like I am tired. I am just tired. And so if you begin to notice that you're feeling like you need a whole lot more sleep,
Mhm.
if you're feeling as though you're irritable and you're starting to snap at folks for what seems like no reason. They say good morning. You like, what you mean good morning? Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. It's okay. I was just, saying hey. If you're noticing things are coming out and it's happening like that for you, if you're at work or school or what have you, and you're having a hard time focusing, you're reading the same line over and over again, or oftentimes I hear, I'm just procrastinating. I don't know why I can't get this task done. Those are indicators that it is time for self-care, as it is beneficial.
Mhm.
However, what I hear so often when I ask folks, what is your self-care plan? Here, okay, I'm gonna go get a massage. I'm gonna get my hair done, my nails done. I'm gonna get my hair cut and da 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 da. All of those things are great. However, that's only step one. That's only step one. That just clears it out for you. And so many folks are like, okay, well, listen, I got the massage and then I went back to work the next day and like, why am I still here? I still feel tired. That didn't even help. I don't know why that's not helping, because that was only step one. So what I like to tell folks is we really have to get a soul care plan, because you need to replenish your entire soul.
Love that.
And just knock it on out.
Edify that soul.
Yeah, please. And as you are edifying your soul and you have your plan, you have your step one, you do that thing, whatever that is, bath, massage, what have you, step one. After you have done that, you've cleared it out, that's sort of like layer one. Then you want to take time and opportunity for self-reflection. This is your time when you get in your quiet space, whatever that is. And you really take the time and opportunity, you get your little notebook or your tablet or whatever feels best for you. Engage in some deep breaths, because so often too, of course, we're breathing. We have to breathe to live, but we're not taking deep breaths. And we don't even realize that we're not taking deep breaths because we're just moving to the next thing. So as you're taking some time to just really take a cleansing deep breath, then I would invite you to just do a scan of your body from the top of your head down to the soles of your feet. Close your eyes if you feel led, or just find you a spot in your room somewhere that you feel comfortable gazing at. And most of the time we notice that we don't even realize where we're holding our tension. Our shoulders way up here, and, I'm over here, my jaw hurt, my feet hurt, all of these things hurt. So when we can do a body scan, we take that opportunity to see, whoa, I didn't realize that. Okay, I feel it in my shoulders. And so then now I can take the opportunity to relax my shoulders. Let me, my jaw hurting. Let me relax my jaw. Let me do these things so I can relax the spaces in my body. So now my body is relaxed, right? So we got our mind together. Now we're moving to our body. Now we can be able to really move forward and create this soul care plan so we can edify our full soul, body, spirit.
Yes.
We need to, okay, how do I need to move forward? What do I need for me to be able to do the things that I need to do? And really take some time and spend that with yourself, and make sure you write it down so you don't forget. Because you want to have a place where you come back to.
You come back to, what's going on.
Yeah.
Where you left off.
Where you left off. Because you need to check yourself sometimes. And so you come back like, girl, I said this. Yes, come back to that. And make sure that you're doing it, and so you're implementing it so that you can always come back to your plan. It's going to change, so be flexible with it. But once you have that foundation, now you have a leg to stand on.
Wow, I love that. That is so good. That is such good advice. Put good advice in the chat if that was some good advice. That is awesome. That is amazing, because we definitely need to go from not just step one. We finally got to step one. Congratulations. And it took us a long time to get there. But now we need to matriculate through that, and we need to grow. We need to grow from step one. So we definitely need to set that time. We need to do some soul care, and we need to write things down, and I'm a big proposer. I love to tell people gratitude.
Yeah.
I love to just, because anybody who practices being grateful, your mindset is just totally different. It's totally different. So if you start writing down, if it's every day, every 2 days, every week, whatever the system is. I tell people Rome wasn't built in a day. Don't go and say, okay, I'm going, and then you get disappointed because you didn't hit the target. Sometimes if you can only do it that one time a week, but be consistent. You
Yeah.
know, if that's what you're doing, just be consistent at whatever it is you're doing, but start paying yourself some gratitude. Start,
Yeah.
really showing yourself like, I'm grateful for this, and you'll see how much things just change.
Yeah.
Your outlook on life changes. You know,
Hmm.
you're not so easily uh persuaded and ticked off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, this has been so amazing. Time has just flown by. I didn't even know. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this has been so good. I want you to tell people how they can connect with you, how they
Uh-huh.
can find you.
Yeah.
Because we definitely gotta continue this conversation. We gonna have to, do a part two.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, on all social media platforms, my account is moments_of_encouragement. Whew, that's a mouthful. I also have beencouragecounseling.com. And I forgot to tell you about my nonprofit. So my nonprofit is Authentic Peace Wellness Center, um, as well. And that one is authenticpeacewc.org.
.org. Okay, awesome. This is amazing. So definitely connect with Iyabo. She is just a wealth of information, so
Yeah,
much knowledge, just a powerhouse of a woman. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time just to be here with us tonight and to have this amazing conversation. And, helping women release doubt and
yeah,
helping them to prioritize their needs, such as, positive self-care, just balance. And
yeah,
so we definitely, we definitely thank you, and we definitely want to have more conversations like this. So most
yeah.
definitely we have to connect again so that we can do that and have more conversation. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, I forgot. So my baby girl has decided to start her own business. I forgot about my child.
Ah,
And she is 8 years old, y'all. And she has created a business called Princess Brown Girl. And her mission is to empower brown girls of all skin tones to know that they are brave, beautiful, and smart.
I
And
love that.
so, as a result, collectively, her and I have created Mommy and Me coloring
Aw,
books, and affirmation books.
I
And
love
those can
it.
be found on her website, which is princessbrowngirl.com.
I love that. That is so
Yeah,
amazing. We gotta get her on Confidence Tea, because she's
absolutely.
already preaching the confidence message. A girl after my own heart. I love it.
Absolutely. She would love that.
Yes,
But
yes. Thank you
yes,
so much. Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Yabo, for coming in tonight and having this conversation with you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on another episode of Confidence Tea Podcast. If you have found some inspiration, that's going to help you to embrace your confidence journey, please share this video, share our message. If you would like to be a guest on the Confidence Tea Podcast, send us an email. Remember, confidence is like a warm cup of tea. It takes time to steep, but it is worth every single moment. As you go throughout your day, I pray that you take the information that we provided you today with you and not forget your self-worth. So until next time, keep shining and stay confident. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night.